Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den. Legacy Internet Radio. Thank y'all for rocking with us tonight. Outstandingly dope show tonight. Got a lot of show in tonight. We did a whole lot of really cool things. We had the Dating Pool Diva lead off the show tonight with the Diva Diaries. We talked about Boris Kojo, and we talked about how the election may have affected relationships. And then we were joined by our sister Ashley Joy in that first segment, and we picked up in the next one. We talked about the inauguration of President Trump and the protest marches and all of that kind of stuff. And we learned a new word called alternative truth. And then, of course, just now we had the re-airing of the interview that we did last week with the number one true fighter, Warren Ballantyne. So we had a great show, and we're going to move towards our history moment and our rants and our closings. And so just real quick, the history moment. On January 23rd, 1977, which was 40 years ago, many Americans were introduced to a family you may have read about, but when you saw Kunta Kinte and you saw Kizzy and you saw Chicken George and you saw Tom the blacksmith and you saw Cynthia and you saw Irene and you saw Alex Haley, you were introduced to an American family. And Roots premiered on January 23rd, 1977. It's outstanding piece of cinema. It allowed many of us in the country to learn about slavery, to learn about the effects of slavery, to learn about how it affected black people and how it affected white people. There was a boom of family reunions that was born in the ashes of the premiere of Roots. You had a lot of folks that wanted to know their own lineages, and many people made the pilgrimage back to Africa to figure out where they were from. You had some folks like yours truly that was inspired to pilgrimage to Henning, Tennessee, which is where Alex Haley got those stories from his grandmother, Cynthia, right there on that porch in Henning, Tennessee. I actually was fortunate enough to go there 2 times in the same year and meet with the family, Alex Haley's cousins and everything, and that's how it inspired me. And so when I was looking for a piece of history to share with you all, and I stumbled upon it, literally was 40 years ago tonight, I definitely wanted to make sure I brought that to you guys. You know, with today's technology, many folks are doing Ancestry.com, and they're learning about their lineage that way. But 40 years ago, there was no Ancestry.com. There was no internet. There wasn't anything like that. You had a lot of people who had no idea. I spoke with Miss Beverly Johnson, who is the cousin of Alex Haley there in Henning, Tennessee. And she shared with me in 1977 when they were actually watching Roots on television. You know, it was mind-blowing even for people in the family because they just didn't know certain things. Miss Beverly is the great-great-granddaughter of Lewis, which was one of Chicken George's sons. The bloodline that leads to Alex was Tom the blacksmith. Tom the blacksmith and Lewis were brothers, so that's how she's related to Alex. So I guess that would be multiple cousins. I don't know how that works, but the point is, I've read the book a couple of times. I'm not that guy that reads the same book more than once, but I read Roots a couple of times, and I watch it every time it comes on television. I watch the remake. I'm fascinated by it, and I just hope that maybe you guys got a little bit of fascination from knowing that 40 years ago tonight, Roots premiered and was introduced to the consciousness of most of America. Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J. Live from the Den, Legacy Internet Radio. It's time for us to kind of get through our rants, and it's time for us to kind of get through our closings. And I'm going to start off before I give mine. The host of Joy and Body Radio, right here on Legacy Internet Radio, airs every single Wednesday night, 7 p.m. Eastern. our sister Ashley Joy. It's time for you to close it out with your rant and your closing, sis. What you got?
Hello, everybody. Yes, thank you for that shout out, Joy Embodied Radio. The show for women and men who love women does air Wednesdays from 7 to 9 right here on Legacy Internet Radio. I'm so glad to be a part of this Legacy Internet Radio family. You have no idea how much it means to me. My rave is just that, being on the show, being a part of a network who absolutely loves me and who I absolutely love as well. My rant is what I already mentioned before. It does bother me that there are a group of protesters who go to rallies and protests to turn the peaceful protest into a riot or an uprising. This has been going on for quite a while. These people were arrested during a Black Lives Matter protest that happened just last year. 27 people were arrested. 24 of the 27 were white, and those people did demolish much of the towns that they were in New York. And I mean, that really bothered me, because it's really indicative of the racism that still goes on here in this country. And it really hit home yesterday when it hit my home. I mean, they tore up a Starbucks that I frequent when I'm in DC on K Street, and even some windows of some clubs that I have attended. It was kind of a bad situation, because that's really not what the protest was about. Also, you put my own family members' lives in danger because they were down there at the inauguration. So it did kind of hit close to home. So my rant really is that, stop trying to blame the black race for everything. Stop trying to frame the black race for everything. We are not a violent group of people. Though we have a voice, we don't always yell. Sometimes we do speak well and articulate. And doing so is what actually has gotten us to where we are today. And we still have more to go, but we have come a long way. Let's not forget the past and how far we've come. So that's my rant.
You got it. Ain't no half step on Marcus J, live from the den. Legacy Internet Radio. You just heard from our sister Ashley Joy, who is the host of Joy Embodied Radio, heard here on Legacy Internet Radio every Wednesday from 7 p.m. Eastern until 9. Of course, part of Legacy Internet Radio. You're listening to the flagship show of Legacy Internet Radio, Ain't No Half Stepping with Marcus J, which airs right here every Monday night from 7 p.m. Eastern until we finish. On Tuesdays and live in radio, hosted by Mr. LP Stephen Sykes and our sister Raw Silk. Also on Wednesdays at 9:30 after Joy Embodied Radio, we have Absolutely Alpha's dope podcast that is broadcast out of Virginia Beach area here in Virginia. So very happy to have them on Thursdays. You hear All Throttle Radio, Biker Life. Of course, our brother Solo been checking in with us throughout tonight's show. And we love and appreciate him and his support for our show here tonight. Friday nights, you heard also from our sister Vicky J of the Woke Squad podcast, broadcast out of Boston, Massachusetts. So we appreciate that crew. 7 p.m. Eastern right here on Legacy Internet Radio. Saturdays, we have I Got Something to Say, hosted by our brother Tavon. He likes to say we got something to say. So that's on on Saturday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. Eastern. And during the day on Saturdays before that show, we play replays of the previously mentioned shows throughout the week. And then after his live show at 2:30, when he's done, then we go back to playing some of the older shows from the week. And then we play the Bob Marley and Family Reggae Mix all night, playing reggae all night, every Saturday night, from about 8, 9 o'clock or so, all night until Sunday morning when Mr. LP Stephen Sykes picks up with Amplified Gospel. So we play gospel from around the world. So it's not just going to be the Southern Baptist fire and brimstone stuff. I mean, you might hear just about anything with Mr. LP Stephen Sykes on the con. So, and then on Sunday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern, we've got Twi After Dark that's hosted by our brother WB and our sister Stacy. So got a lot that we do here on Legacy Internet Radio when we're not doing live shows. We're playing music, and we got an eclectic mix. We got an eclectic bunch of folks. So there's something for everybody. So we appreciate you guys patronizing our station, liking and sharing our stuff, telling folks that you're listening to a dope station. We're all kind of like co-opt, so we take care of everything here. So if you find it in your heart to support us, definitely hit our website. There's definitely ways to help us and support us there. If you're looking to sponsor, we certainly are working with sponsors to promote your businesses and things of that sort, as well as if you've got a voice and you want to do a show and you've got something that you think you might be able to do, email us at legacyinternetradio@gmail.com. That's legacyinternetradio@gmail.com, and we'll talk and see how we can support one another. You push us and we'll pull you. I want a special thank you to those folks who checked in with us tonight. Solo, Sylvia, Mike, Cadence, Lily, Tiffany, Ed, Terry, Madrika, Mr. 3375, Hakeem, Laurel, Vicky J, and our sister Michelle K. All checked in. And our brother K-Dub, all checked in one way or another. So appreciate all of them. At this time of the show, always profile a missing and or exploited child. Tonight is no different. We're looking for Amir Carrington. Amir Carrington. It's been missing since January 1st, 2017, from right here in the Cap City in Ranco, Virginia. She's a 16-year-old black female, stands 5'5", weighs 105 pounds. She's got brown hair, brown eyes. She was last seen wearing a multicolored shirt, black pants, and black boots. Her nickname is Tink. If you've seen Amir Tink Carrington, please contact the National Center for Missing and or Exploited Children on their website, missingkids.com, or call them at 1-800-THE-LOST, 1-800-843-5678. That's nationally. Locally, contact the Henrico County Police Department at 804-501-5000. I guess it's my time to close it out with my rant and my closing, and I will go ahead and do that. You already know where I'm going. It's kind of the stuff that we've been talking about for the night. I hope one day we can get off of him, but we're not there yet, so just bear with me. I'm talking about the guy who lost the popular vote by millions. I'm talking about the guy who went into the White House with 40% approval ratings. I'm talking about the guy who had minimal support at the inauguration when compared to his predecessor, which, of course, is easily verifiable no matter what his people say, with their alternative facts. The Russians may have assisted him. Boycotts by elected officials at the inauguration, protests at the inauguration day, and women marching all over the country and the world the next day. If you are really interested in uniting the country, you must acknowledge this unrest. The defiance of you and your staunch but loud minority of supporters will only widen our divide. A press conference to denounce crowd size is not helpful. It's arrogant and it's unnecessary, and it shows that what's important to you is not what's important to the people you now lead. But make no mistake, we know you're working. Changing HUD laws to affect the middle class and cost new homeowners more money. Working to repeal the Affordable Care Act with no plan to replace it, casting insurance in doubt for millions of people. By the way, who quits their job without another job? Like, how stupid is that? And of course, you nominated an education secretary who has poor grammar and wants guns in school to guard against bears. America, we have got to figure out a way to do better. Mr. President, please do better. That's Marcus's related rant that had everything to do with tonight's show. We're going to run it back in its entirety. So if you missed anything, you didn't miss nothing, just stay here. We're going to rerun the show in its entirety. I want to remind everybody that independence is key to building your legacy. Also want to say peace to all the stars and all of the squares. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. Those are the words of Bob Marley, who you hear singing in the background. Ain't no half-stepping with Marcus J. We will be back right here live from the den of Legacy Internet Radio next week.